Arrested after 10 p.m. last night. He demanded a bribe amounting to 1,000 rand from a motorist with an expired license disc at Jan Smuts Avenue in Johannesburg. Well, for more on the story, we're now joined in studio by Johannesburg Metropolitan Police Department spokesperson, Superintendent Mr. Wayne Mina. Thank you very much for your time. Essentially, what is the full story here and how did you come about to know about it?
Yeah, so the officers stopped the motorist just after 10 last night, and the license disc on the windscreen had expired. The corrupt officer demanded 1,000 rand bribe. The man did not have the money. So the corrupt officer told him, well, go to an ATM and draw the money. And he took the driver's license, said, you're not going to get your license. Get the money and you get your license back. So the driver then left and called the internal affairs, the anti-corruption hotline, 0800 203 712, and then internal affairs members then met with the complainant and they agreed that he would give 200 rand so that the internal affairs members could arrest the corrupt officer, and that's what they did. They gave 200 rand and the internal affairs then pounced on the corrupt officer and arrested him. He's currently in the Hillbrow police cells at Hillbrow police station, and will have to appear in court on charges of bribery and corruption, and then will have to appear before a disciplinary hearing where he will be dismissed.
Essentially, what happens then in that disciplinary hearing? What is the process from the Road Traffic Management Corporation when an officer is found guilty of corruption, of bribery, and there is evidence?
Yes, no, it's very serious. Corruption is it's dismissible. Officer taking bribe money must be dismissed. So that's going to be the process, because there's proof, there's evidence that he took the money in the presence or from where the internal affairs members could see, and he's now ruined his career. He started the Metro Police in 2009, so he's got a 9-year career which is now ruined.
So essentially, how does the JMPD or the policing authorities keep track of officers who have been found guilty of bribery, corruption and fraud to make sure that they're not reinstated in another province somewhere or deployed somewhere else?
Well, look, the Metro Police has a database of the corrupt officers or any of the members dismissed for whatever serious offence. So this database is then in place for anyone to want to verify any officer or ex-officer if they want to employ someone.
Now, Superintendent, how often do incidents such as this actually happen, number one? Number two, how often are they actually reported? And number three, how often do we actually see that it results in this, in there actually being evidence being found where the motorist can actually prove that this officer came to me and was trying to solicit a bribe from me and ultimately leads to him being fired?
Look, what's important is that no driver, no motorist must give bribe money. And if there is a corrupt officer, to immediately call the 24-hour hotline corruption number so that internal affairs can immediately get onto it and arrest the driver, the motorist if it's the corrupt officer if necessary, so that the corrupt officer can appear before disciplinary hearing. What is important is that we must stamp out all of the corrupt officers, for those who are corrupt or those who turn to become corrupt.
What is your right as a motorist if you are in that situation in the middle of the night? A case in point, you're a young woman, you're being stopped just past midnight, maybe you're coming back from work or you're coming back from the airport, and you get stopped by a police and you describe that your license disc has expired, and you find yourself in a situation where you're surrounded by Metro Police and you are in this sort of situation.
I can tell you that the majority of the officers are good officers. They're doing their job diligently and they're doing what is expected of them. They will give you a fine if the license disc is expired. But if there's a corrupt officer, keep the 24-hour anti-corruption hotline on your phone so that you can buzz, call for help, so that you can be assisted.
What measures have been put in place by the Johannesburg Metro Police Department to ensure that corruption is reduced? Have there been interventions? Have there been new systems that have been put in place, such as dash cams or body cams? Is that something that the department would be looking towards in the future? The resources are available.
Yes, so look, it's been considered, both the dash cam and the body cam. However, the officers are trained in the academy that one aspect, and that is corruption, it will never be tolerated. So any officer who is corrupt must know that their career is limited, and if they are found, they will be dismissed. There's also campaigns that get done regularly by the department and internal affairs on educating officers about corruption and about the disadvantages and how it could really ruin their lives, because an officer, most have bonds, they have cars to pay, and they have families to support. So if they do take bribe money, it's going to ruin their lives. And these campaigns get done regularly at malls, at exhibitions, at schools, at institutions. So officers are well informed.
Of course, it's not only the officers involved in this that are at fault here. Motorists also support the corruption, because, you know, when they're in the wrong, then they do most of the time cough up the money. What sort of repercussions do motorists face if they're also found on the side of the road actually wanting to bribe an officer?
Yes, a corrupt driver is just as guilty as a corrupt officer, because whoever initiates the bribe is also guilty, and the driver can also be charged. There has been instances where drivers have been charged, where the driver had actually initiated the bribe, and then the tables are then turned with the charges leveled against the driver instead of the officer.
Thank you very much for your time this morning. That was Johannesburg Metro Police Department spokesperson, Chief Superintendent Mr. Wayne Mina, of course, giving some updates there of one of their own officers being arrested just after 10 p.m. last night for bribery. Of course, the motorist reporting that incident. They were going to take a short break.